What is good, guys? It's Rey-Jay back with another video. And in this one, I want to break down what's going on with the overall market and talk about what I predict will happen to SPY for the next 6 to 9 months. I'm going to give you guys why I believe that the market has more upside coming, but there will be a top forming soon. I'm going to break down how this could end up panning out. But before I begin the all this information, before I talk about this rally on SPY and how it's looking in my opinion, let me just mention a couple of things. Firstly, I am not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Moomoo link, which is down below and in the description. If you sign up for Moomoo and deposit $100 into the account, you are guaranteed up to 5 free stocks. If you deposit $1,000, you're guaranteed up to 15 free stocks, and the offer ends very soon. Anyways, now let's break down what's happening to the markets. Looking at SPY, we got this absolutely monstrous rally. This thing broke above 480, then it approached our target of 482, and this thing still has more upside potential if we break 483. If that breaks, our next target is going to be around 485. And if we get above the 485s, this thing could easily push very close to 490. If we get above the 490s, there's 495 plus and eventually 500 coming. But for now, we're just going to be looking at these highs. So I just want to note that there have been a lot of these high puts to call ratios that help SPY pump the way it did as shorts got squeezed. But the thing about this is that as more and more shorts are basically buying into the markets and they continue to get squeezed, we're going to see a big shift in the overall positioning. So people may become extremely greedy over time. And this is when the market starts to top. So I want to be very careful once we reach those tops. We're not quite there yet. But when it comes to the put and call positioning, this is very greedy right now. It's extremely greedy. If this hits these extremes again, that's when the market tends to find its tops once we get to that one area. That's when you want to be very careful. But I do want to note something very important, and I think that this is going to still affect the markets. There's likely going to be a recession coming. Okay, there's going to be a lot of fear as time goes on. You want to be very careful when looking at this. The reason for that is because the Fed has signaled that they're going to likely not cut in March and keep rates up for longer than expected. That's what the market is priced in now. There's a 48% chance they cut and a 50.7% chance that they're going to be giving us a pause, basically. So we'll see if they cut or not, but the market has changed its view. Now the question is, what's going to happen? Well, SPY looks bullish. It's easily going to push up higher, but I honestly don't think that this move is going to be that sustainable because of the recession and because of the effects it has. But don't forget, it's going to be an election year. So what I think is going to pan out is, I think first and foremost, SPY and the QQQ have more upside coming. I think they're going to run a lot more. I think that they're going to be pushing higher and higher and higher, but then they're going to form their tops. And it's going to happen within 2 weeks, in my opinion. It could even happen next week, so we'll have to see. And then the market's going to get a big correction. Okay, I think they're pushing it up because there's going to be a big correction coming. They want to push it as high as possible so that the correction doesn't look as bad. Why is there going to be correction? Because of the recession, recessionary fears, economic contraction, unemployment basically going up, and they're going to try to incite as much fear as possible. Why? Because of manipulation. Once everyone is extremely greedy and they maintain extreme greed when we think the market's going to explode forever, that's when they're going to start tanking the markets. That's when we're going to see the whales start to unload. And when you have a recession coming with the high interest rate environment, right, the market's going to price it in very quickly. And this is part of the manipulation. They're going to start selling when everyone's greedy. And then what's going to happen is when the market corrects, this is going to become extremely fearful. When everyone starts to panic, it's going to be a cycle. Okay. That's when they're going to start buying everything back up, approaching the election. And I'm going to break this down in a very simple fashion. So this is our chart right here. There's a lot we could do with this, but I'm not going to focus on too many specific technicals. I just want to call out a couple of things on SPY. So we could easily take our trend-based fib extension and other indicators, and we can actually draw out a very nice looking trend on this. So we can actually take our indicators like this, and what you'll find is that we're approaching this 484 area. Above that, we have 490, not to mention 492 at the 1.618 level. These are some important fib levels that you want to be watching for just to be safe. But besides that, this chart is very strong. But how do I think this is going to pan out for the next couple of months? It's very simple. So I would take the daily time frame when looking at those levels. And it really depends on different factors. But I want to note that I think that the market could push more. It's going to likely push more. Okay. It has more upside basically coming. And that's going to depend on where we top. But it depends, right? I don't know where the top is going to be. I don't know if we're going to top at 485 or 490 because since we're hitting new all-time highs, I can't look left on the chart and like look at previous historical data. This is new territory, and that's when things could become very different. If we end up topping, say at like 490 or even 485, somewhere here, we're just going to be watching this carefully. It could even be 500. I don't know if it's going to go that high, but what's going to happen over time is the move is not going to last forever, guys. It's not going to last forever. Okay. What we could do is we could take our very, very handy Fibonacci retracement tool, start from the bottom down here, and go all the way up. Let's just say, assuming 490 is the top. I don't know where the top is going to be. It could be 485, 490. If the top is at 485, our 0.618 retracement happens to be at 438, aligning with our gap. If it's 490, it also aligns with 440, which happens to be at our gap. So either way, there's likely going to be a big correction coming. I still believe that's going to happen. Why is it going to happen? Because we have a recession coming, guys. There's going to be as much fear. And what they're going to do is they're going to try to play as many retail investors as possible. And I'll show you how this might pan out. So it all depends on where the top is. I don't know where the top is going to be. But let's just say SPY does rally, whether it's 485 or 490, maybe even 500. It all depends on different factors. But what's going to happen is they're going to price in the recession very fast. Okay. SPY has a triple bearish divergence right now. I talked about it yesterday. It's going to be very quick. And we're going to get a big drop like this, right? It's going to happen for the first 6 months of the year. Not the first 6 months, but I would say like approaching March/April. And SPY is going to bottom right here at 440. This is because of the recession and stuff like that. They're preparing for a big drop. It's going to last a few months, and we're going to see this correction because they're going to price in a recession. Okay, but don't forget during this period right here at November, we have an election. They're not going to let the market crash forever. So we're going to start a massive recovery phase. And the market's going to start this massive, massive bull rally. It's going to be a very fast recovery, like a V shaped recovery. Going into the election, the market's going to be back to new all time highs, most likely. And they're going to try to tell us everything is fine because it's going to hurt these politicians if the market's at too low of a value, right? Just like how we got this correction, we were very close to 460 back in July. We got this correction going into like November before the market rallied. We could see something very similar, but early on. And I think that's because we have the November election coming, they're going to rally and push the markets. Historically, the large majority of the time, the market rallies, except for like 2008, the market rallies approaching 3 to 6 months approaching the election. We tend to rally. And also, after the election, we tend to rally even more after 6 to 9 months historically. So what's going to happen to SPY? Very simple. We're going to push a little bit more for 1 to 2 weeks. We could maybe for 1 week. I don't know. Then we're going to start this big correction as we approach the month of March. We're going to fill a lot of these gaps. Maybe not every single gap. I don't know if we're going to come all the way down to like 420. That's kind of extreme. But the 0.618 Fibonacci retracement level would be around 440. So we could see SPY come down to fill that gap. When is it going to fill the gap? It could happen around like May, could happen around April, who knows when, but it's going to happen sometime during the first half of this year, most likely. Then I presume around this period, once we bottom, June is going to come and the market is going to start this nice bounce. And then we're going to be looking at a really, really nice rally, a strong rally to end this year, approaching the election. 3 months before the election, which is going to be around July, that's when the massive rally will really continue. That's when the rally goes crazy, and we're going to make a fast recovery to squeeze shorts. When the market reaches this high up here, everyone becomes all greedy. The fear and greed index is about to hit extreme greed. That's when we're going to hit the extreme greed. That's when all the trickery happens. SPY also has this bearish divergence developing, but it's not fully developed yet. SPY could still pump more. So we get this big correction. Market comes down. When we start to correct, okay, the fear and greed index is going to become extremely fearful, and everyone's going to start shorting the market like crazy, thinking it's a massive crash. It's going to be fast. It'll just take a few months, just like how it's just like this, right? A V-shaped recovery that we saw right here. The same thing is going to happen. Everyone was panicking. Everyone thought a big crash is coming. SPY is going to crash to 300 a share, this and that. SPY went to 409, then we got a massive recovery. They squeezed the living daylight out of the shorts. And I think we're going to see history repeat itself all over again. That's my prediction, guys. We push a little bit. see some consolidation here. It doesn't have to be a straight drop, guys. The market could still do stuff like this where we just like, you know, we could just see ups and downs like this. It doesn't have to be exactly just one drop. But I just want to make it clear this is generally what I'm seeing. The first 5-6 months of the year is going to see some downside overall we're going to end up kind of down, and then after May/June, market's going to rally extremely hard. A full recovery is coming. They're going to squeeze shorts approaching the election. I believe that's going to happen. All right, that's my view of the market. I told you all back in October the market's going to rally in November. The November squeeze is coming, and I was correct about that. I couldn't call everything about this volatility. This was even stronger than what I was predicting, but I couldn't call everything, but I was generally correct about that because the market has these kinds of views. As you guys know, I have a proven track record about being correct a lot of the time, so I think a move like this is very possible. I think the market's going to make a full recovery. You've seen what the market could do, guys. You saw that massive run from November to December. I wouldn't be surprised if we see something again like that. So we might push a little bit more. SPY is going to top very soon. That's why they're pushing it like this. They want to push it so much that when we get the correction, it's not going to seem that bad. Market is going to basically have this nice correction. It's not going to be the end of the world. It's going to be quick. We might fill this gap down to 440 if this aligns with the Fibonacci retracement area. Then we see a full recovery very quickly, and then we're going to break to new all-time highs by the end of the year into the 500s quite easily. And they're going to, rally the markets regardless of who wins, because they're going to just keep squeezing shorts. They're going to play with your emotions. That's my prediction for the end of the year, guys. And I think we're going to see Tesla and other stocks follow a similar trend. Tesla could be affected by its earnings, but the QQQ is going to follow this as well. I'll make another video about the QQQ, but that's it for now. Hopefully this video was helpful for the people out there. That's my view of what I think is going to play out for the end of the year. And I'll keep going over this like every other week or something just to like review whether or not this is correct. But I'm very convicted that something like this is most likely going to be the case. I'm not a fortune teller. I can't always predict every pandemic, every war, so I can't always be 100% accurate. But I can tell you that I find a very high probability that as of right now, given the current geopolitical positions right now, the current circumstances, this is the most likely possibility. All right, that's it for this one. I want to make this one nice, short, sweet, and simple. That's what I'm seeing on the charts right now. I think SPY is going to push a little bit more. We're going to top soon. There's going to be a correction coming. They're going to quickly price in the recession so that by the time if a recession is announced, we're going to already start recovering. And then they're going to make a very fast recovery for the election because these politicians have a very, very slim odds of winning an election if the stock market is crashing, if the stock market's at a big low, because people, especially in America, they have a tendency of judging the economy based off the stock market, and they know that. This is all part of their game, guys. Remember, I said this as well. The election year was coming. For 2023 was the last year before the election. They wanted a strong stock market, and that's why we got this massive rally. That's part of the reason, also because of shorts getting squeezed. And I think history is going to repeat itself. What happened here is going to repeat for the year, and we're going to see a big rally for the end of the year again. Squeezing as many shorts, all the people saying there's going to be a crash, they'll be correct initially. They're going to become more fearful. They're going to be screaming it, only for the shorts to get squeezed at the end of the year by the second half of this year, in my opinion. That's my view. I could change this depending on different circumstances, but that's what I'm saying for now. I want to keep it nice and simple. Have a great weekend, guys, and I'll see you guys very soon tomorrow. Thank you, and peace out.